Hi everyone, this is Amy Shahinsky with Fun with Stamping, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks and some cards using this lovely new product from Stampin' Up! It's the gold leaf foil. It comes in a much smaller container, but when you open it up, it expands. So it's best to put it in a large Tupperware with a lid because this stuff likes to float. One wrong blow of something, or you're just going to whip it around your room, it's like fluff. So make sure you have it in a large container with a lid. Some other tips: don't have wet fingers, because this will stick to it. It likes water. Don't have open ink pads. I mistakenly was working with my Knight of Navy and this jostled, and I have flakes of gold and it's hard to pick out. Once it's stuck onto that ink pad, I'm gonna have to be gently scraping that off for a bit. And that's about it. It's fun, it is messy. There's a learning curve if you've never worked with it, and I never have. I've seen it out there, but I've never played with it, never ordered it from anybody. So there is a learning curve, and my garbage shows that because I threw out a lot of projects. But I'm going to show you a couple of them I did today. So the first one, I used a stencil. Now when I say first, this is the first decent card. I have a lot that made the trash, but I thought this one looked pretty good. So I used a stencil from Stampin' Up! And I have an old one. I don't have any of the current ones, but this looked really cute. So you're just gonna place it on top of your cardstock. You are going to need your Versamark pad and the matching, or it goes the heat and stick powder. Now, if you've never played with heat and stick powder, what I would suggest doing is grabbing a scrap piece of paper, ink a couple of images in your Versamark, sprinkle this on, and play. What you're trying to do with your heat gun is just to melt this just till it melts, because then it gets kind of sticky and tacky, and that's what makes this stick. If you overheat this with your heat gun, it's like you overbaked your cake. This will not stick. So practice first till you get that right amount of time. You'll notice it starting to melt as you're using a visual when you're looking at it. Just as it starts to melt, it's done. Don't do one more pass. One more pass will make it overbake. So practice with this first. Stencil on top. I just randomly pressed my Versamark in. I sprinkled on my heat and stick powder just so it melts, and then you're going to pick up your pieces of, and this stays tacky for a bit. It's not like you have to rush. You're going to press in the gold leaf. Now then you're going to need something to brush it away. You can use your finger, which works fine. I don't have the greatest nails. You can use I don't know, back of a credit card, or if you got a Pampered Chef scraper. I saw a lot of ladies on videos using a brush, and it looked a little bit more professional than what I have, but this is actually an old Stampin' Up! Brush for some reason that I never used. But it really works great getting in between this design, this pattern, and it will brush it away. And when I say brush it away, brush it into the bucket, because you want to save all these bits and pieces, because you can reuse those. Nothing really needs to go into the trash. So then you're just going to brush, brush, brush until the design comes through and you see your lovely gilded foil. I used the same stamp set that goes with this art gallery with the flower image, the expression, the framelits, added some ribbon, I Wink-a-Stella'd, and added some of the gold embellishments from the main catalog. And there was my first good card. I won't say my first attempt, but my first good card that I actually completed. Okay, using a stencil. Now anything can be a stencil. You can make your own from many of the framelits that we have, but Stampin' Up! Does have several. That card number one, put that aside. Card number two. Now, you knew I was going to play with these triangles because I love them. I think I have two sets just in case one goes dull. I bought a second. So for this one, I punched out a bunch of triangles, and I did this first card, and I used this shape, and it looked way too much like Christmas trees, and I didn't want this to be a Christmas card. So I switched it up and went to the equilateral, I think they're called, triangles. So then all I did is you just take a scrap piece of paper and you want to cover up half of your triangle or shape. You could do squares, you could circles, you could do ovals, whatever. You're going to push your Versamark into that, then sprinkle on your heat and stick powder, heat set it just so it melts, just so it's tacky, and then pick up your foil and lay it on. And again, you're just going to push, push, push. And then I scraped off the sides, and then I did them, you know, different top, sides, and completed. But I really like how this turned out. Very geometric. And then it's one of the embossing folders kind of matches. An expression from the stamp set. You are lovely. So, second card, triangle card. Like it. Next one, I thought we should do some stamping. So, I started with obviously the most hardest one. I don't know, hardest, the most difficult. I don't know if I would do such a fine, detailed image until I practice a little bit more, but I went for it. So this is the Rooted in Nature leaves. The larger ones I stamped in the Memento Black, and the lighter ones I stamped, or the smaller ones I stamped in the Versamark, sprinkled on the heat and set powder, heated it just so it melted, and then added into the gold foil. Couple of tips if you are going to pick a very detailed, defined image to stamp with. Don't squish the leaf too hard onto your pen, because when you push too hard, you blend those lines together and you won't get the detail of the veins of the leaf. You will definitely need something like this to really push in and get out the bits and pieces that shouldn't be stuck in between the leaf veins. So not bad for my first attempt. Like these two leaves look really good. That one's kind of a little smushy, but I like it. I like the simplicity of it. Monochromatic. They say gold looks really good with neutral colors, because I actually Googled what does gold go with. I'm not much of a gold. I'm more of a silver lady, but they say gold looks really good with neutrals and purple, and I'm not a fan of purple, but I think one of my next cards is going to have to be, because that's what it goes with. So there we go. Stamped image, Rooted in Nature leaves. Again, if you're doing a very detailed, fine image and you want the gold foil to go with it, don't squish too hard on your Versamark. You wanted a crisp image. There we go. Next one, I'm actually using the flowers from the art gallery, two-step stamping. Actually, it's triple, because I use, this is the Midnight Muse, then come in for the detailed of the Night of Navy, and then this smaller one is the one that I used for the gold foil with the Versamark. So I stamped my 3 flowers, and then I did the Versamark, pushed the gold into the gold foil, used my brush, and then I used the adhesive sheets to pop up Just Want to Say. And these are expressions, this framelit is actually in the matching framelits for this art gallery, which I love. And then you can say, just want to say sorry, or thank you, best wishes, I'm thinking of you. I really think this set is gonna get a lot of play from me. And I'm not sure if this flower comes in blue, but I thought it looked really pretty. Just Want to Say. And then some embellishments from the mini catalog, I believe. And then last, to show you that you don't have to use Versamark, this card actually uses the, this card was the foam adhesive sheets. This card is the adhesive sheets. So, and I used the framelit from the, I think it's Many Mates bundle. That's this one. So I ran this through the soft suede, just as is, and then I took a chunk of this and put it on to a piece of, I think I used Very Vanilla, and then I laid this on top of the stickiness. So the sticky was coming through all of these openings. And then I pushed the gilded foil into that. And that brush came in really handy on the floor to brush that away. And then I didn't want to hide, because this is really pretty. It took a lot of work, so I didn't want to hide it, so I put my expression low, but it was a very flat looking card then, so I needed to add some dimension. So these ribbons I added, I took the, that's a gold one and that's the brown one, but this linen one, this is the in color scalloped ribbon, and it is very stiff. It's like starched really well. And for me, it does not make a pretty bow. I could not get this to work. And so I use it flat all the time. It just lays there. So I thought, well, I really want it, but I just cut off the scallop and kept the inside for my project. Wrapped it around a couple of times. And then that's very flexible. And it really goes with this card. Again, adding some dimension to a lovely card, but it's kind of flat. You can also use, if you wanted, if you don't want to attempt the heat and stick, but you still want to use the gilded foil, you can use your Terrifically Tacky. Peel it off, lay a strip down. I guess we could do this. Peel that off, and then take your foil. My fingers are wet. Push it on. Like I said, wet fingers, not good. And then, there you go. Hope it's very shiny, so I don't know if my camera's picking that up. But you could use that, I mean, as a decorative bit to a card. Just use your tear tape. Tear tape, that's what it's called, not Terrifically Tacky. And then this would go back in there. So, you can use your framelits for this. You can use stencils, you can use stamps, all kinds of ways to use this gilded foil. I love it. I think I'm gonna be using this a lot. Just playing with it now, I wanna do like furniture. And like, I wanna go gild, I don't know, something up in my bedroom. Or maybe I should start with a dish. Pottery with decoupage. I'm not sure what you can do with this. I'm sure there's so much more than just card making, but that's where we begin. We begin with our card making, and then we go and see what else is out there in this world when it comes to the gilded foil. So here are my creations. Again, this was just a day's work. I should just go up here. I played with this last night. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to help. And I have to go find my lid. Thanks, ladies. Have a great day.